In earlier court hearings, former soldier Kyle Clifford had denied the murders. Now he's pleaded guilty.
Welcome to Timely Crime, your daily dose on crime stories. What if the person you once trusted and cared for turned into your worst nightmare? What if the signs of danger lurking in a relationship were ignored until it was too late? These haunting questions lie at the heart of the tragic story of the Hunt family murders, a case that sent shockwaves across the UK and left a community grappling with the devastating aftermath. Few crimes grip the nation with such profound sadness and shock as the brutal murders of Carol Hunt and her two daughters, Hannah and Louise. Their lives were tragically cut short on July 9, 2024, in their family home in Bushey, Hertfordshire, a peaceful suburb that became the scene of one of the UK's most horrifying domestic crimes. The perpetrator, Kyle Clifford, used an unusual and devastating weapon, a crossbow. Typically associated with sport or hunting, the crossbow became a tool of unimaginable violence in Clifford's hands, turning a household into a nightmare and a community into a state of mourning. This crime was not a random act of violence but a calculated and deeply personal attack. Clifford, the former boyfriend of Louise Hunt, had demonstrated controlling and abusive behavior throughout their short relationship. After Louise ended the relationship, Clifford's possessiveness escalated into dangerous obsession. Unable to accept her independence, he began meticulously planning an act of revenge that would shatter multiple lives. On that fateful day, Clifford entered the Hunt family home under the guise of retrieving his belongings, but he was armed with a crossbow and a butcher's knife. Inside, he unleashed a torrent of violence that left all three women dead in a matter of minutes. The crime scene painted a chilling picture of premeditation, rage, and brutality. Louise, the primary target, was bound and made to endure horrific suffering. Her sister Hannah, who tried to intervene, and their mother Carol, who attempted to call for help, were also ruthlessly attacked. The case has not only shocked the nation but also reignited critical conversations about domestic abuse and weapon regulation. It highlights the insidious nature of coercive control in relationships, a form of abuse often underestimated until it culminates in tragedy. Clifford's choice of a crossbow has also drawn attention to the gaps in UK weapon laws, as such weapons are minimally regulated compared to firearms. The Hunt family was well regarded in their community, known for their warmth and kindness. Carol Hunt was a retired teacher who had dedicated decades to shaping the lives of her students. Her daughters, Hannah and Louise, inherited her vibrant energy. Hannah, the elder sister, was a dedicated nurse, described by colleagues as the heart of the ward. Louise, the youngest, was a talented graphic designer who was starting to make a name for herself in the competitive creative industry. Together with their father, John Hunt, a renowned sports commentator, the family represented an image of unity and happiness. However, behind this facade, a dark storm was brewing, one that would forever change their lives. Kyle Clifford's relationship with Louise Hunt was marked by early signs of controlling behavior. Friends and family later revealed that Clifford had a tendency to dominate Louise's choices. He demanded she stop wearing makeup, dictated her wardrobe, and discouraged her from socializing without him. Such behavior, often dismissed as possessiveness or overprotectiveness, is a hallmark of abusive relationships. Experts on domestic violence stress the importance of recognizing these signs early. In Louise's case, these red flags escalated after she broke up with Clifford 6 months into their relationship. Unable to accept the rejection, Clifford began plotting a sinister act of revenge. On the morning of July 9, 2024, Clifford arrived at the Hunt family home under the pretense of collecting his belongings. However, he was armed with a crossbow and a butcher's knife, revealing the extent of his premeditated intent. Inside the home, he confronted Louise, binding her with duct tape to prevent any escape or resistance. Despite her pleas, Clifford was unrelenting. He shot her in the chest with the crossbow, leaving her gravely injured but alive to witness the unfolding horror. Hannah, hearing the commotion, tried to intervene, but became Clifford's next target. She suffered a fatal crossbow wound to her abdomen. Finally, he turned his attention to Carol, who had been attempting to call for help. Using the knife, he ended her life in an act of brutal. The murders were over within minutes, but the trauma they inflicted will last a lifetime for those who knew the Hunt family. The discovery of the crime scene sent shockwaves through Bushey. Neighbors described the Hunts as a close-knit and loving family, making the tragedy even harder to comprehend.
Service and on arrival found 3 women with serious injuries. Sadly, despite their best efforts, the women, who are believed to be related, died a short time later at the scene. The victims are aged 25, 28 and 61. Our overarching objective today is to protect public safety and to locate Kyle Clifford, who is wanted in connection with the murder of the 3 women in what we believe is a targeted incident.
John Hunt, the family's patriarch, was away at the time of the murders, working on a broadcasting assignment. His devastation upon learning of the events was palpable. In the days that followed, John released a statement expressing his profound grief and gratitude for the support he and his surviving daughter Amy received. The local community rallied to offer their condolences. Vigils were held, and the family's home became a site of collective mourning, with flowers, candles, and heartfelt messages left in tribute. Kyle Clifford's actions did not end with the murders. After leaving the Hunt family home, he attempted to evade capture. Authorities launched an intensive manhunt, eventually locating him the next day in a cemetery near his home in Enfield. Clifford had attempted to end his own life, suffering injuries that required medical attention. Once in custody, Clifford initially denied responsibility for the murders, a common tactic among perpetrators seeking to avoid justice. However, as forensic evidence and witness testimony mounted, he eventually admitted to the killings.
The search for the triple murder suspect Kyle Clifford is over. Mr. Clifford was detained this evening inside Lavender Hill Cemetery here in Enfield and North London. Hertfordshire police say that no shots were fired during the hunt. They spent around 2 hours inside this cemetery earlier, and around 5 to 5 today an ambulance came out of its lights flashing and sirens blaring, thought to have the suspect on board, and he was taken to a local hospital where he is being treated for his injuries.
During his trial, chilling details about Clifford's mindset and planning came to light. Prosecutors revealed that he had researched the use of crossbows and knives in violent crimes, indicating a deliberate intent to cause maximum harm. Clifford was charged with 3 counts of murder, false imprisonment, and possession of offensive weapons. He also faced allegations of sexual assault against Louise, which he denied. His eventual guilty plea spared the family from the ordeal of a prolonged trial, but it did little to diminish the horror of his actions. The use of a crossbow in this case has sparked significant debate. Crossbows, while legal in the UK, are subject to minimal regulation compared to firearms. They are often marketed as tools for sport or hunting, but their potential as lethal weapons cannot be overlooked. Advocacy groups have called for stricter controls on crossbow sales, including mandatory licensing and background checks. This case has highlighted the need for policymakers to address gaps in the law, ensuring that weapons capable of causing such devastation are kept out of the wrong hands. Beyond the weapon used, this tragedy underscores the dangers of unchecked domestic abuse. Experts have emphasized the importance of recognizing controlling behaviors as early indicators of potential violence. Support systems for abuse victims must be strengthened, with greater emphasis on prevention and intervention. Louise's story is a stark reminder of the risks victims face when leaving abusive relationships. Studies show that the period immediately following a breakup is often the most dangerous for survivors, as perpetrators may lash out in an attempt to regain control. For John Hunt and his surviving daughter Amy, life will never be the same. The loss of Carol, Hannah, and Louise has left an irreplaceable void. Despite their grief, the family has chosen to channel their pain into advocacy, raising awareness about domestic violence and lobbying for legislative change. The broader community has also been profoundly affected. Schools and workplaces associated with the Hunt family have implemented counseling programs to support those struggling to process the tragedy. Though their lives were tragically cut short, the legacy of Carol, Hannah, and Louise Hunt lives on. Their story has sparked conversations that could lead to meaningful change, ensuring their deaths were not in vain. As Kyle Clifford faces sentencing, the nation remains united in its grief and determination to prevent such tragedies in the future. The Hunt family's resilience in the face of unimaginable loss serves as a beacon of hope, reminding us of the importance of compassion, community, and courage. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share the video with others. See you in the next video.